Hey, Shane.
Yeah.
Have you heard of like actors?
I've heard of some.
Okay, so you've heard of, so you know, like acting, they're in a movie, they play a part, they're a character, you know, like that.
I thought they just are the people that are, they just put a camera on the real people.
No, like it's...
See, but like for Tom Cruise, he really is doing that stuff.
He really is doing that stuff, but his name is Tom Cruise, not Ethan Hunt. You know what I mean?
I thought his middle name was.
There's no way around that. We are talking actors and their filmographies, and the ones we want to swap filmographies. Well. This spawned from a conversation I was having with Breck's family where one of them went, hey, wouldn't it be crazy if Nick Cage and Keanu Reeves swapped filmographies? And I leaned back and was like, I want to see Nick Cage and John Wick, and I want to see Keanu Reeves in Con Air so bad.
Oh.
So bad.
That's such a good one. That's literally the perfect one.
Yeah.
I don't know how you beat that answer.
Look, and here's the thing. There's a spectrum of this. There's like, I actually think that would make for a really interesting movie, and it's so bad I want to see it, is the other end.
Yeah.
Like, I do not think Nick Cage would be good in The Matrix. But the masochistic part of my brain wants to watch it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's that.
Well, see, I don't know, man. Nick Cage was a very different Nick Cage at that time.
That's true.
So it's like, okay, now Nick Cage, he couldn't do that now. But I don't know, like 90s Nick Cage, I think he might be able to pull it off. It would be very different. It'd be a very different Matrix.
Could Nick Cage play John Wick?
100. It would be, again, a different John Wick, but I think he could do it. It'd be really different and
weird. Could Keanu do The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent? Is Keanu that type of star?
See, I haven't seen that one, but yes, he is. Yes, he is.
Okay, I question that because when they talk about the writing, and when the guy who wrote that movie, he was literally like, I wrote a movie that literally one actor in all of the world can play. Yeah. And when you watch it, you really do understand, like, you're like, I get there are other people who are more famous than Nick Cage, and I get Keanu is one of those like mega stars, hyper recognizable, very specific thing he does. Yeah. But it's different. It's different.
I haven't seen that one, so I can't.
Anyway.
But I do think that, like, again, like, I think they would be different movies, but like, yeah, I legitimately do think Nick Cage could do at least the first Matrix.
Yeah.
It'd be a different movie, but
I want to see it.
I want to see it.
So like he just said that, and then we instantly just started spitting out different actors.
Yeah.
This is something that has been like permeating my consciousness for a week, where I'm just like, who do I want to see swap filmographies for what reason? Like another one that was pitched was like Danny DeVito and Jack Black. Like swap them around and see like what would School of Rock be with Danny DeVito as the star, and what would Batman Returns be with Jack Black as the Penguin?
That would be very, that would be weird as hell. Where my first thought was like, what about like, I don't know, like Kevin Spacey or someone who sucks, and just give it to somebody else. That was like my first thought. But then I was like, what if you swapped like Brad Pitt and like Tim Blake Nelson or someone like that? Like give me like a true, like perfect character actor and swap it with Brad Pitt. Yeah. Because like I would love to see Brad Pitt do more true character actor work. Yeah. Because he's done it.
Because he is a character actor. Yeah. He's just a leading man. You know
he's just also incredibly handsome.
Yeah. I love that because I also think Tim Blake Nelson would just be incredible in like 90% of Brad Pitt's roles. Yeah. Him and Oceans.
Yeah.
Be awesome. I love Tim Blake Nelson.
I love him so much.
He's awesome.
I am the king of the Tim Blake Nelson fandom.
He rules so hard.
Yeah.
That's a really good one. That's a really, really good one.
Yeah. Because, like, again, like, I would love to see, because Tim Blake Nelson just has both of them have so much range.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And to see what the other would do with some of these roles. And I think, Oceans, I think, is a particularly good Like
Tim Blake Nelson in Bullet Train.
See, that'd
but
be
I'd
sick
be
as
in.
hell. Like,
And honestly, that one would make a lot of sense for a character actor. You know what I mean? Tim Blake Nelson in Inglourious Bastards.
Yeah,
I'm into it though.
Yeah, like there are a couple that I think would be like a little weird for Tim Blake. You know what I mean? Like Mr. and Mrs. Smith or something like that.
Yes.
Where it's like
some of the more like leading man type.
Yeah,
roles.
it's like, and not to say that I don't think he would like knock it out of the park, but like his
his thing doesn't quite work.
No, what's the word I'm looking for? His chemistry with like somebody like an Angelina Jolie.
Yes,
I just don't know if that's gonna work the same.
I agree with that. That is a fascinating one, but like really a shockingly large amount of Brad Pitt's filmography, I think Tim Blake Nelson would kill it.
Yeah, would do great. Yeah.
Now flip it. Would Brad Pitt do as well in Tim Blake Nelson roles?
It's like
I'm trying to think of Tim Blake Nelson's like bigger movies.
I mean, you put him in Oh Brother Where Art Thou. I think that's gonna be sick. I think that's gonna be a really weird, fun performance.
Also
like,
with Clooney, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yes.
like that would be
Clooney.
great. Oh, that's a great one. I would love to see that actually. Oh.
Yeah. What are some other Tim Blake Nelson? Like him in like Watchmen.
I was about to say, honestly, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah.
It would be a different. I think I agree. It would lean itself a little bit, probably a little bit less gruff. Than that is, which is a big part of it for me. But I think Brad Pitt could also kill that.
In a way, I think it would almost maybe lean a little bit more comical.
A little bit, yeah.
You know, in a way, but like,
yeah, Brad Pitt is a shockingly funny actor.
He's really funny.
It's not that Tim Blake Nelson isn't, but Tim Blake Nelson also, I think, has a sadness to him that doesn't exist in Brad Pitt in the same way.
Right.
Which is why I think Bullet Train would be a great role for Tim Blake Nelson. Just be a depressed assassin.
Yeah.
Who's like trying to be positive. That's a great one, and I love the whole concept of the character actor switch.
Yeah, because again, it's like we've talked a lot about how Brad Pitt is a character actor in a leading man's body.
Yeah.
And I think that would be the ultimate test of that.
That's a fantastic one. I love. That's like a hard one to be. The one that I pitched pretty immediately was Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart. Including the Twilight movies, they just swap roles. She is playing Edward and he is playing Bella.
Just Robert Pattinson and Taylor Lautner. Just switch their careers.
Yeah. No, but like,
so just Taylor Lautner in a bunch of stuff that, you know.
Here's the thing. I know you haven't seen Good Time.
I have not.
Kristen Stewart would be
shred.
so fucking amazing in Good Time.
Sounds like a thing. Like that sounds real.
But I also think Robert Pattinson would be incredible in like Personal Shopper or Love Lies Bleeding or Spencer. But like,
that's funny.
But put Kristen Stewart in the Batman. What does that movie become? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
I stand by that one. That would be one because those are It is amazing to me how their careers panned out. Where like afterwards, it felt like they did a blockbuster or two, or semi-blockbuster or two. They tried to fit into these like bigger things, and both of them just went, "I want to do the weirdest, most challenging things possible."
I don't know. I feel like immediately after Robert Pattinson just went, I'm just going to do a bunch of indies. Like, what was his name? Like, what other blockbusters did he do?
He did. Well, this was during his tenure on Twilight.
Oh, okay.
He did like Remember Me, which was pushed pretty hard. Not a blockbuster,
I thought that was before.
It was during, definitely. It was in between. I think Twilight like 1 and 2.
Oh,
like
don't listen
he was.
to me then.
He did like Water for Elephants. Like these aren't blockbusters, but they're like really. They were pushed as very mainstream movies. And then, I actually found this out the other day. Robert Pattinson turned down a Robert Eggers script before The Lighthouse.
Oh,
Robert Eggers sent it to his agents, and Robert Pattinson went, "I'm only really interested in doing weird stuff. So if you have one of those."
Yeah.
And then that happened.
Fascinating.
Isn't that really cool, though?
Yeah.
And I'm curious if it was The Northman, but how could you call The Northman mainstream? You know what I mean? Like, that's a pretty weird movie wrapped in a giant action epic.
Yeah.
Anyway, Robert Pattinson and Kristen Stewart was one of my immediate pitches that I was like, I would just love to see that.
I'm trying to think of like action stars or something like that. Like what are two very? I mean, like that's kind of like the Nick Cage, Keanu, but like, I mean, my mind immediately jumps to, and I feel like it's kind of boring, but like Arnie and Sly.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like they're very different on-stage presences. Like what would an Arnie Rocky look like?
Breck and I talked about this, and because we've been on a big Sylvester Stallone kick, because she had never seen Rocky, and I fixed that one. So I've shown her like all of those movies, and I just showed her Rambo.
All of them? Y'all did watch like the first
like
half.
20 minutes of 5, and I was like, I'm sorry, Rick, I really can't do it.
Yeah.
God, I broke my rule and I didn't even follow through. I don't show anyone Rocky 5. I've literally shown multiple people the entire Rocky franchise, handed them my DVD copy of it, and went, here you go. Here's Rocky 5. If you wish to watch, I will not be joining.
We have watched. I had only seen the first one. I hadn't seen. I had seen the first one in like Rocky Balboa and Creed, but I hadn't seen 2, 3, 4, 5. I hadn't seen any of those. So we watched all of those together, and he said, "I'm not watching 5. Like, if you want to watch 5, that's your journey. I'm not watching 5." And I said, "Okay."
Yeah.
And I have not seen 5.
It's awful.
If you ask me, just skip it. Rocky Balboa makes just as much sense if you just skip it.
Like, the one logic jump is that he no longer is rich.
No, see, but
And
like,
who gives a shit? You know what I mean?
I didn't question it even once. I was just like, yeah, because
he just moved back to the neighborhood, opened a restaurant. That's it.
Legitimately, it just to me, it doesn't read like he's not the richest man in the world anymore. It's like he just hasn't boxed in 30 years.
Yeah.
And he's got his restaurant, and he's living a meager life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like maybe he gave his son a bunch of money. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he's just living his life.
Yeah. Look, I totally agree. I don't watch Rocky 5.
You could skip it. It'll still make sense. Don't worry about it.
But the thing we talked about is the thing that makes Sylvester Stallone so good. You should watch the documentary Sly on Netflix. It is really good.
I've never seen it.
It's really, really good.
Is it good?
I loved it. But the thing about Sly is there's an earnestness to him. Like, Rocky is very earnest.
Oh, yes.
That's not an Arnold.
No.
So, like, I think Sly could do Predator.
Yeah.
But not as well as Arnold. Because Arnold has this larger than life, like, bigger presence, where in earnestness and Predator would make it a little less fun. A little less, like, the symbol of it would be less fun. I don't think Arnie could do Rambo. You know what I mean? I don't think those two could do those major roles of theirs. I think
it changes it. Like that's
it changes it, but the whole point of First Blood is this, like, tragedy of him, and I think Arnie makes it a little too, like,
it turns it into Commando.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I do think Sly could do Commando though.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, but the
Sly
thing is, Sly will do those too, like the Expendables and all that. Like, sorry, that's my phone. That's the first time that's happened on the pod. Oh my God, twice.
Is that the first time?
I believe this is the first time a beep is going.
Asshole.
Yeah, I know.
Like, get him off the pod.
Ah, God. A guy who looks shockingly like me tases me and drags me off, then sits down.
So my brother.
Yeah, it's just Jake. Anyway, yeah, it's just Adrian Brody. Anyway,
friend of Adrian. Come on,
Adrian.
Adrian.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Anyway, I like those two are weird and interesting, and I would love to see it, but I don't think there's as many, like, good ones between back and forth for them. I don't know, but that's a pretty fun one. One that I thought of pretty, like, late in me just thinking about this, I was like, okay, I love Florence Pugh. I adore her. I don't want her filmography to change. I want her agent to get a little better in recent days.
Jeez, yeah.
Like, the last, like, great thing she did was Dune.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, it's been a clip.
Before that?
Before,
a while.
There was that 2019 where she was in, like, 3 legitimately incredible movies.
Yes.
And then she was this, like, Black Widow, which is a perfectly fine movie, and she is the highlight of said movie. She's never bad in anything. Just she hasn't been getting a ton of great. Anyway, regardless of that, I love Haley Lou Richardson.
Yeah.
She is in After Yang, Edge of 17. Florence Pugh is having the career that Haley Lou Richardson also deserves.
Yeah.
Imagine if you flipped them. I want to dip into that alternate universe and see what Haley Lou Richardson would do with a megastar career.
Yeah.
Because she's so good every time she pops up.
Yeah.
Like, she's incredible in After Yang. That same director's other movie, Columbus.
I know. I desperately want to watch it.
Oh my, she is literally her best performance, I think.
Wow.
I think she's absolutely brilliant in that movie. And I think Florence Pugh would knock those out of the park in the same way. And I think Florence Pugh would do great in, like, an Edge of 17. You know, I'm fascinated by, like, less so I want them to switch, and more so I just want to see what Haley Lou Richardson would do with such a huge career. Yeah. Like, that's something I was starting to think about a lot of, like, these, like, underrated actors who deserve megastars, what filmography would they slide really well into? I also think Haley Lou Richardson would slide into Haley Steinfeld's career really well.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's one that I thought about quite a bit.
I'm over here racking my brain trying to think of other interesting swaps.
I like the idea of taking a horror legend and putting them into something else and putting someone who's never done a horror movie into that. And I'm trying to think of like put Samara. Who's a good swap for Samara Weaving for like Ready or Not or Melissa Barrera would be really good in Ready or Not. Actually.
No, yeah, she would shred in that. That'd be sick as hell.
Honestly, I would love to watch Samara Weaving and Abigail and Melissa Barrera in Ready or Not. That would be a fun swap. Yeah. Both scream queens in their own right.
What about like Jim Carrey and like Robin Williams?
Ooh.
You know what I mean? Like
what would Carrie do with like a Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's fat. That's a really good one.
Like what would Robin Williams do with like The Mask?
I would love that.
That would be really fun.
That would be a fantastic.
Like again, like those would not be so dissimilar. Like they're not the same actor clearly.
They would have a different edge to them though. Yeah. Like it would just be like a different flavor, I think.
Because I think both of them have very similar ability to be the hilarious comedy, but also get down deep and get real. I think both of them have that ability. Like to see Jim Carrey in Good Will Hunting, I think would be really interesting. It would not be the same, but man, it would be really interesting to see him do something like that.
I would be fascinated. That's a really good one.
Freaking Robin Williams as Ace Ventura.
He would kill it, though.
He would kill it. Like, that would be a really good one.
I would be super into that. I'm trying to think of, like, an old guard legend. Honestly, screw it. Blade Runner. I looked at the pop. Harrison Ford and Ryan Gosling.
Ah.
You know what I mean? Like, put Ryan Gosling in the OG Blade Runner and put Harrison Ford... obviously flipping them so, like, they're coming up through this time. Would Harrison Ford be... I think Ryan Gosling would kill basically all of Harrison Ford's roles, and Harrison Ford would only be good in a few of... Like, Ryan Gosling is Indiana Jones. I don't know. I don't know if Ryan Gosling
I was thinking that in like Han Solo.
Ryan Gosling in The Fugitive?
Yeah.
I think he'd be really good in The Fugitive.
He'd be really good in The Fugitive. Oh, yeah. Make a remake of The Fugitive with the Goss.
That would be awesome. Because Gosling...
I'd actually be super into that.
Yeah, Gosling has been kind of leaning the past little bit into like funnier things, especially his last two major roles. And he's kind of talked about that. He's like, I have a family. I want to be in a good headspace when I go home, which is like, it's really wholesome, buddy. That's really wholesome. But yeah, it's something like that, like an old guard guy with somebody new would be really fun to me. That
would be fun, yeah.
Because there's so many movies they don't make anymore, and I would love to see somebody like that.
Him in oh shit, what is it? The Firm? Is that
No, The Firm is I don't know. Put Gosling in a legal drama is where you're going. I absolutely agree with that.
Yeah,
it's so good.
Air Force One.
Ryan Gosling would kill it in Air Force One.
Yeah,
though.
right.
It'd be weird, but he'd kill it in Air Force One. What about like a Val Kilmer? Who's like an up and coming? Who's a Val Kilmer equivalent?
Glenn Powell.
Yeah. Yes. Val Kilmer and Glenn Powell. Yes.
Give him Batman. Give Glenn Powell Batman.
Yeah, but give Glenn Powell Tombstone.
Yeah.
You know, like, would he be as... I don't think he'd be as good as Kilmer. But give Glenn Powell, like, Heat. You know what I mean? Like, because I think Val Kilmer would absolutely rip and shred in all of Glenn Powell's roles.
Yeah.
Like, I think he could do the, like, Set It Up, which is a really good rom-com with Zoe Deutsch. Like, I think that would be fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I also just love Glenn Powell. I am deeply excited about Twister.
Yeah. Oh,
which apparently was shot entirely on film, which is super fun to hear.
You'll love to hear it. You'll love to hear it.
Deeply, deeply excited about Twister.
I mean, just Glenn Powell and Bill Paxton.
Yeah,
those two swapping. Like seeing Glenn Powell in Aliens.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Glenn Powell belongs in an Alien movie. He belongs in a Ridley Scott movie.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a really fun one.
Ooh, what if give me like a Kurt Russell? Who would Kurt Russell swap with?
Wyatt Russell. Kurt could do all of Wyatt's roles, but Wyatt could not do Kurt's. I'm sorry. We were watching The Thing at Breck's Family, and at one point for the first 10 minutes, we're talking about how hot he is. That dies down, Kurt Russell, and that dies down for a little bit, and then he pops back up on screen, and Breck's brother just goes, he's so hot. Yeah. And I was like, I know, dude, thank you. I'm glad we're sharing this enthusiasm. God, trying to think of, is there like an interesting like voice, like Robert Pattinson exclusively in voice work with all the voice work Mark Hamill has done.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Because after The Boy and the Heron, I want to see Robert Pattinson do voice acting
so
a
good
lot.
at
He's
it.
so good. And I think slot him in a Joker. You know, I know he's
Yeah.
Batman, but slot him in as Joker in an animated something.
Yeah.
I think he would absolutely kill that.
Yeah, I agree.
I think that's a really fun one.
Yeah.
Who are weirder actors from back in the day? Like, who's a weird like '90s star that we could swap with Robert Pattinson?
I don't know.
Robert Pattinson as E.T. E.T. plays Edward. We believe it because he's E.T. And this is basically the question: are there directors you can think of you want to see swap careers and see what their movies would be done by somebody else?
I mean, I think a weird one would be like Ridley Scott and like David Fincher.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? To see like David Fincher take on fucking, I mean, obviously Alien. That's like the easy one.
Yeah, but they got
like,
robbed from him. You know.
Yeah.
See him take on Blade Runner.
Yeah.
What would his Blade Runner be like?
Yeah.
Fincher needs to do another sci-fi.
Dude,
He needs to
I
do like a
know.
big crazy.
like a real sci-fi movie.
Because I really did. I liked The Killer. I thought The Killer was cool. It's an experiment. It's like a very strange movie, but
again, it feels like his attempt at making an R-rated
franchise.
series.
Yeah. Which is what he very openly has wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what a Ridley social network would be. Would that just be like Matchstick Men? Ridley's never done a Sorkin script, has he?
Not that I know of. I don't. I think he would kill it in the way that he usually does.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Ridley is
Like,
a very consistent.
yeah.
He's had some movies I have not liked, but he's
Yeah.
very consistent.
But yeah, like overall, like he's making pretty good.
Nobody
real
does
good.
the like knight's armor sword fight quite like Ridley, and I'm fascinated to know what Fincher would do with it, because there's something dirty about those, and Fincher is not that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I would love to see him take on like a real like full action
like sword
movie.
and sandal kind of thing. Like that'd be sick. I'd be super into that. Like what would his Gladiator be? Like that would be awesome.
Yeah.
Super into that as a concept.
Yeah.
I like the idea of swapping like a famous comedy director. Like what about like Ivan Reitman with like Martin Scorsese? You know what I mean? Like what the hell would happen with that?
Or what if you swapped like Phil Lord and Chris Miller and what's his name that made that finished directing Solo?
Ron Howard.
Ron Howard. What happened if you swapped their careers? Would Solo actually be kind of good?
Also fast. Oh, dude. Honest to God, Sam Raimi and David Fincher.
Yeah.
Two people who are so specific in their style, doing their other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I would love that.
Or like, what about like just a journeyman director like a Ron Howard with a very specific director like a David Fincher? You know what I mean?
Dude,
like,
honestly,
Ron Howard, every single one of his movies feels so different. Like there's not all that much that you can really pinpoint as a Ron Howard movie. But then David Fincher's David Fincher. You know what I mean? I would be fascinated.
Honest to God, Ron Howard and Steven Spielberg would be an amazing one to me. Like, and one that would actually, I think, make a little bit of sense, because Spielberg has made so many different movies, but they all feel like Spielberg movies. If you swap him with something like Ron Howard, who's also made so many different movies, how would his style? I don't know. That'd be a good one.
That'd be
interested
a good
in
one.
that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like a Will Smith. You know what I mean?
The thing is, we don't really have a Will Smith anymore. Like,
right.
there's not.
But who could be a Will Smith? Like who could be that?
Michael
like,
B. Jordan.
That was the first thing I thought of too. But it's like, is he
honestly,
funny enough?
Michael B. Jordan can be. He did more like comedy stuff back then. Honestly, I think like a Glenn Powell and a Will Smith would. You know, like I think Glenn Powell's kind of close to what we have. That like hyper charming, like big personality kind of thing. Like the Hitman.
Yeah.
Which looks really good, by the way. Will Smith could do something really cool with that. I don't know. This
bug is flying around me. It's fucking dive bombing me.
Anyway, I don't know. We don't have a Will Smith as our problem.
Yeah.
Like there's nobody.
Chris Rock.
The slap included. They just swap. They swap lives.
I don't know. Like, I think we covered some really interesting swaps.
Yeah. This is a true minisode, like our first actual one that's short.
For shits and gigs, do you want to do some movie trivia questions?
I'll fucking do some
for shits and gigs. Yeah. Just to end it on a game note. I'm literally trying to rack my brain for anyone. If we think of some more based on the questions, I think that could be fun.
I will go first. In the climactic scene of the film Independence Day, Russell Case destroys the alien mothership after saying which of the following lines? Hello, boys, I'm back. Honey, I'm home. I'm back, baby. Welcome to Earth.
Hello, boys, I'm back.
I love Independence Day.
Fucking classic. It's the best. Speaking of Will Smith, in what film do Robert De Niro and Al Pacino star but never appear in the same scene?
The Godfather Part 2, right?
You got it.
Yeah.
I didn't even have to read off the options.
Really famous.
Yeah.
You get a really easy one here. Who was the main character in A Nightmare on Elm Street?
Freddy Krueger.
Yeah. That would be a really fun one to see Bill Skarsgård play Freddy Krueger.
Ooh,
Love that. But
yeah.
Robert Englund owns that role, and I would
Yeah.
never ask. But Bill Skarsgård has done the horror icon thing before,
Yeah.
and I just love Bill Skarsgård. So
He's so good.
anyway, that's a good one.
Bill Skarsgård and Alexander Skarsgård. Just swap a couple Skarsgårds.
I'm in though. Like yeah.
Which
Each of the
fucking
Skarsgård
bug.
children. Each of the Skarsgård children face their father and having to do one of his roles.
Bill Skarsgård is Baron Harkonnen. Which of these Oscar-winning films had the longest runtime?
Oh shit.
Gone with the Wind, Lawrence of Arabia, Ben-Hur, or Cleopatra?
Cleopatra, right?
Yeah. 248 minutes.
Famously a movie that bankrupted a studio.
Just for how long?
Yeah,
Just
just for the sheer size. Just for the film that took to shoot it.
No, literally.
In 1993's The Remains of the Day, Anthony Hopkins' character is which of the following? Butler, doctor, groundskeeper, poet.
This is truly a fucking toss-up. I know nothing about this movie. Say it one more time. What are the options?
Butler, doctor, groundskeeper, poet.
Groundskeeper.
Butler.
Oh, I was so close though.
Yeah.
That was close. Come on, those are the same thing. Let's be real. Who played juror number 8 in 12 Angry Men?
Yeah, names.
We've done this one.
Have we?
Yeah.
We might have caught up then.
We've done this
Try
one.
the other one then.
Well, I'll still read out the answers. Robert Webber, Jack Klugman, Ed Begley, and Henry Fonda.
Henry Fonda.
Yeah. You got that. I'll give you another one. We'll see if we've done this one before too. In the Never-Ending Story, what kind of creature is flown by the film's protagonist?
A dragon.
Yeah. Have we done this one?
done that one.
All right. We've fully gone around the circle.
I'll give you one more and then we'll just...
Okay.
What is the real name of the first MGM lion? King, Goldwyn, Big Boy, Slates.
Goldwyn.
Slates.
Yeah, I was... Did you know that?
No.
Yeah, like...
I'll give you one. Which of the following is the only film to not star Keanu Reeves? The Matrix, Johnny Mechanic, My Own Private Idaho, Speed 2, Cruise Control.
Speed 2, Cruise Control, yeah.
Because he refused to come back.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Cruise Control's so good. Why would you?
why aren't we all talking about Cruise Control still, man?
Dude,
What's
come
going
on, man. We need more speed movies, man.
Sandra Bullock and who?
Meg Ryan.
Sandra Bullock and what's her name from Pretty Woman and
Julia Roberts.
yes, Sandra Bullock and Julia Roberts. That'd be a fun one. I'd like that one.
Sandra Bullock as in the Ocean's movies.
Sandra Bullock as Baron Harkonnen.
Yeah, Sandra Bullock and Stellan Skarsgård.
Yeah, they could both do each other's roles. I fully believe it.
Willem Dafoe and Stellan Skarsgård.
Yes, abso-fucking-lutely.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe would be the weirdest Baron Harkonnen of all time. But
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe would actually be incredible in like Girl with the Dragon Tattoo.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
In a role like that, he would absolutely kill that.
Yeah.
Willem Dafoe as
Willem Dafoe and Robert Pattinson.
yeah, but just the Lighthouse. They're just playing each other's roles in the Lighthouse.
Yeah, they just Willem Dafoe is Batman. Like a young Willem Dafoe is the Batman. Fascinating. Because everybody's just like, he should play the Joker.
And like, yes, he'd be good.
Like,
but
yes, he'd
he's
be
good because
good.
he's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah.
Anyway, this is just a random little topic. I was like, this is a fun idea of like who would be good. I'm sure there's like 80 people are like, could you not have just said that one?
Put it in the comments.
Put it in the comments. Drop it in the comments, the good ones that we missed, and tell us we're wrong.
Yeah.
Or the best movies of actors we said that they should play each other.
Yeah.
Like that's.
I know we missed a lot of those.
That's
probably.
the fun part. I mean, it's been a long dream of mine to like somehow do a thing where you do a double billing, but it's the same movie directed by two different directors where they cannot communicate about it. You hand them each scripts that they have to shoot.
Yeah, we've talked about this
and
before,
just like, I want to do that.
That'd be sick.
So bad.
Yeah.
So bad I want to do it.
That'd be really fascinating.
Just because it would be a fascinating experiment, and then you do like a Q&A thing that goes along with it. And
yeah, especially like leave the kind of descriptions of the world a little bit barren. You know what I mean? Like really up to interpretation in the script.
Yeah, like I would say like not doing something too genre-y.
Right.
Not doing like a horror movie. Although I do think if you gave two horror legends the same script, that would be awesome. But like doing like a drama or like an action movie. You know what I mean? But not describing the type of action that it is. Like letting them interpret that. Fascinating. I would love to do that. Frankly, we should talk about how we can get that done.
I agree.
Because I want to do it really bad.
That would be cool.
Anyway, this has been our little discussion. I enjoy these little mini-sodes, and we're trying to find more fun topical ones. So if you have any ideas for topical things we should discuss, drop it down in the comments, then smash that like button. And don't forget to subscribe.
Hit that motherfucking like.
Oh, God. Are we those people now?
Yeah.
I refuse. I don't want to be.
You don't want to be like a hype YouTuber?
No.
Hey, what's up, you guys?
I do, although I do want to bore a sound effects board that I can just click for random sound effects during the episode.
Hell yeah.
I would abuse that quickly, and it would get taken away from me.
I think I would be the abusive one to it. Like if
I think the problem is like you would have a bunch of buttons memorized, and I would find the one that tickles me.
Oh,
and I would just repeatedly every time you said like just say anything.
Say anything.
Just repeatedly, it just makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Fart jokes in movies. That's a mini-sode at some point.
Yes.
Our favorite fart jokes in movies.
Which two fart jokes would you swap?
I love that. Dude, Tim Blake Nelson in Babylon would be awesome.
Yeah.
We're trying to wrap this up, but now I'm just thinking about Tim Blake Nelson.
Tim Blake
Brad
Nelson swaps with more fart jokes.
Tim Blake Nelson does the looping for the Foley for the fart jokes.
His ass is the one that you hear every time.
I love it's awful. Poor Tim Blake Nelson. Come on the pod. We love you.
Come on. I love you so much.
Did
Tim.
you ever watch Cabinet of Curiosities?
No.
I haven't watched all of them, but the Tim Blake Nelson one's really fun.
Yeah,
it's
I
really
need
cool.
to.
He's really good in it.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's been this mini-sode. We have a good time doing them. Let us know all the things we said before. And enjoy your week. Go to the theater, watch a movie, read a book. I don't know. Live your life.